time of the day. So welcome, Ken. It's your second time back with us.
Yep.
Glad to have you back. Apologies the last time the recording didn't work, so we've made sure it's working this time.
No worries.
We'll crack through our TPM questions, and we've got some community questions, and whoever joins, we'll see if anybody wants to ask any questions live. So we'll work our way through, and we'll go from there.
All right, awesome.
Well, good. So let's go with the first question. So you've been an avid photographer for many years, but I understand you started your VP during lockdown. And do you think your in real life photography influenced what kind of games you wanted to capture when you first started?
So just to answer that first bit, yeah, I started during the pandemic, but I don't think that my photography beforehand had really too much influence on the photos that I took in game, or any game really. The photos that I take in real life, is mostly like landscape, wildlife stuff, some architectural stuff, and in the games. Well, that's I do take a lot of landscape stuff in games, so I guess in a sense that did influence that, but I would say the style of photography is a little bit different.
Yeah. What camera are you using in real life?
So previously, I've used Sony mirrorless cameras before. My favorite that I most recently used was the A7R4, which was my pride and joy for a while. I no longer have that, sadly. But I use now my iPhone, and I use that, and I'm pretty satisfied with the photos that it's able to take. So it's a pretty capable device. So that's what I use now.
The cameras on phones nowadays are insane, aren't they? When you look at it.
Oh yeah, it's wild when you think about, it's a device that does so many things, and yet does that one thing so well. The camera aspect of it has come a long way for sure.
It's crazy the sensors and things they can fit in a phone. It's really crazy. I can't remember what phone I had a couple of years ago, but the macro setting on it was amazing.
Oh yeah,
it was better than my SLR camera. I'm thinking, how can that actually be? In my phone, it's a better camera, but technology comes on leaps and bounds, and obviously having it in your pocket all the time, you can just take it out and snap whenever you want.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the nicest thing about phones having nice cameras is the convenience. Instead of having to carry another device and multiple lenses depending on the scenario, you just have this one tiny thing that you whip out of your pocket, take a quick snap, and you're on your way.
Definitely. Have you tried those little telephoto lenses you can get to go on your iPhones?
I've tried. I actually have one from a company called Moment. They make some really high quality accessories for phones. And I have I think it's a 58 mil lens, telephoto lens, and it's great. So.
Oh, I've always seen them and thought, I'll give them a go. Is it just a gimmick or does it actually work?
It definitely works. The one thing I would say, depending on the phone and the lens you want to get, you do need their case for a more seamless connection between the lens of the phone and the exterior lens that you put on it. Because I have another case from a different company that's compatible, but it has a slight off balance to it when you mount the lens to the phone, so it doesn't give the right quality as opposed to getting both things from Moment itself. So, but I would definitely give it a try. They make some really good stuff.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to try that then. So you said that you're in real life photography did directly influence the kind of games you wanted to capture and how you captured in virtual photography. So Victor Torres and Cinemane VP from the community have said, have you got any favourite movies or media that come to mind that inspire the way you shoot your games?
Uh, to be honest, it's not probably the answer anyone is expecting or wanted, but no, there isn't there isn't really any media that kind of influences my work. I think my photography is pretty detached from other things that that I watch and stuff. So I think
Yeah,
more so than anything, I think other photographers influence my work more than anything else. To be honest.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. I like comic book movies and things, but that doesn't carry across into how I take a picture.
Mhm.
Although I can see from like some people who find influences from anime and things like that. I can see the influences, but yeah, I'm like you. For me, it's just there's no correlation between it
Yeah.
at all.
Mhm.
So, what's your favorite game of all time? And what is it? Is it the same one, your favorite game to capture, or is it a different one to capture?
So, favorite game of all time. I know I said this last time because everybody who asked me that. I have the same answer. My favorite game of all time is Journey.
Yeah.
That I think is a perfect game. I think that is an 11 out of 10 game. I It has a special place in my heart. But of course, there's no photo mode. So my favorite game to capture, though, um, I can't remember what my answer was last time, and
Oh, I can.
okay. I'm sweating bullets now.
No, I'll tell you. You tell me what it is, and I'll tell you if it's the same.
I What comes to mind immediately is Mad Max.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, Mad Max kind of blew me away with its photo mode and just its visuals in general. I I I remember back when the game first came out, my friend showed me it. He was playing it and I was watching him. And at the time, I'm watching and I'm like, I don't I don't think I would enjoy playing this game myself. Uh, it's kind of cool to watch. It's very actiony.
Mm.
But I didn't, that wasn't the kind of game that I played back then. Fast forward to, many years later, uh, the game, I see the game on PlayStation Plus a subscription, so I'm like, oh, I'll give it a go. I download it, I start playing, and immediately I activate the photo mode, and I'm like, whoa, that's actually pretty good. And I just started taking hundreds of photos and just really falling in love with the design of the environments and the visuals and everything, the clouds, which I'm sure you maybe have seen from my photos. That's a strong emphasis in my Mad Max photos, the sky. Um,
But the skies are amazing in that game now. And I know we mentioned last time is you see skies in games nowadays, and I'm not comparing to things like Horizon and all that kind of stuff, but it can still hold its own against the skyscapes in some next gen games.
Absolutely.
They're literally beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah. And I would go so far as to say I think it still holds that top spot. I don't think. I mean, Horizon definitely. Forbidden West specifically, their skybox is beautiful, right? There's no denying that.
Mm.
But I firmly believe that Mad Max has the best skybox of all time. That's just
No, you're up there on that, man. They are really great skies. I find like on the skies nowadays where they try to be so realistic, which is never a bad thing, and you've got the sun in the sky, it's always kind of blown out quite a bit. Does that make sense? Whereas in Mad Max, I'd never really got that problem, even when the sun was in like a sunset or dawn position. It never felt blown out. That makes sense.
mm, oh, yeah, definitely. And I think with Mad Max, you have such a wide range of clouds specifically. The types of clouds that you see. Whereas a lot of games, I notice in newer games, they'll focus on like the really, really pretty ones, like the stratocumulus clouds and stuff like that, and things that grab your attention, but that's kind of it, And so you
Mm,
don't see much of anything else, and it kind of it's a little off-putting. But in Mad Max, you have all different types, and it feels so real, feels a little bit more natural.
exactly, exactly. But no, definitely, I'm with you on that. And I actually saw it on the PS subscription the other day. I thought, shall I download it? Shall I? And with everything that Assassin's Creed Mirage has just taken over at the moment, so I didn't download it in the end. But I need to get back to it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a game that you can always go back to even now and enjoy, and it'd be a beautiful game.
Oh yeah.
So definitely recommend that to everybody.
Speaking of, real quick before the next question, how are you liking Mirage? I see a lot of people taking photos and just praising the game. It seems like a really good game.
I absolutely love it. So there's a couple of things there's lots of things I love about it, but the standout things I love about it is going back to the roots of stealth gameplay.
Hmm.
Really enjoy it. I mean, I love Valhalla, Odyssey, and Origins, but taking it back to the stealth, and the clever thing they've done with it is the combat isn't really difficult, but the timing of the parries and things is just difficult enough to always push you slightly more towards stealth.
I see.
So they've done it very cleverly. They haven't made you have to do stealth, but they've balanced it so that's kind of your first port of call you go into any situation. So I like that.
Okay.
Um, and also just the city. The city is just absolutely beautiful and it's lovely to capture. They've done a really good job of creating that.
Yeah.
We actually asked the Assassin's Creed UK were questioning. I can't remember the name of the guy. Um, Somebody who's involved from the studio in putting it together, and they asked one of our questions today at EXG convention in
I,
London,
s-
Games
I
Convention.
saw I saw that was really cool.
It's just I don't know. It's just you kind of think that going from something like Valhalla, which was massive,
Hmm.
to something which is centered around one city is going to be a bit of a downgrade, but it's so not. It is brilliant. So if you can get it, if you can play it, I would. It's absolutely beautiful, and the city of Baghdad is amazing to capture. So yeah, I'm flooding Twitter /X/ whatever it's called with Mirage pictures. But yeah, no, it's a really good go back to the roots, and it's really beautiful. So yeah, definitely worth it.
All right, cool, awesome, thank you.
No worries, no worries. So you've been posting some shots from multiplayer games. So this kind of leads into the question we've had from VB Pablito.
Yes.
Um, how has your VP experience in multiplayer games been so far? He says the games that are not MMOs, live service games with hubs for players to meet and stuff, more like Battlefield and bits and pieces. So how have you experienced that so far using the spectator mode and that kind of thing? It's not something I've delved into, so I'd be interested to know how it works and how you've gone with it.
Yeah, of course. So, firstly, I want to thank Pablito for that question because I was hoping that he or someone else would have asked that, because it's something that I haven't really gotten a chance to speak about, and I would love to talk about it, super in depth. But I'll try to keep it short for the purposes of this
No,
call.
no, you mate, you go,
Um,
you talk as long as you want.
yeah, but so you know, Battlefield really is the only multiplayer game, at least I think. I don't think I've played any other ones that I've taken photos in, and of course, mostly because Battlefield One and Battlefield Five have spectator modes, so it's easier, quote unquote. I'll get into why it gets complicated, but it makes it possible to take more controlled shots, we'll say, right? With the spectator
Mm,
mode, you have a free cam. You could go anywhere in the map. You have a huge range of FOV and depth of field and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of freedom using the spectator mode in those games during multiplayer matches. So very little restrictions in terms of what you can photograph, right? A scene in the background,
mm,
a character running, across a road, or anything.
Yeah.
Where it gets complicated is, I can control the camera, but I can't control the scene, right?
Yeah.
So, for instance, easy comparison, any single player game, if we wanted to take an action shot of a certain ability, let's say in Spider-Man, or in Assassin's Creed, right? You
Yeah.
trigger the ability, you activate the photo mode, boom, you freeze frame, you capture that bit of action. You have as much time as you want. If you don't press the photo mode in time, you can just do the ability again and try to capture it until you get it, right?
Mm.
Uh, in a multiplayer match, you cannot do that, right? If you wanted to capture someone firing a rocket at a tank, for instance, going back to Battlefield specifically, uh, you just kind of have to wait until someone decides to do that. And of the 60 plus people on the map, you have to have picked the one that is carrying the rocket and shoots it at a tank. And if you don't capture it in that, you know, quarter of a second, however much time you have that to capture the scene, you missed it, and now you have to wait Lord knows how long until the next opportunity. So
Okay. So with that the fact that you can't obviously freeze what you want to take a picture of, so there's a couple of bits questions from me then on that part
sure.
is number one, you're not freeze framing. So when you take your pictures using the share button or however you're taking your pictures, does that give you a blurred image or is it quick enough to take that snapshot so you don't get any distortion?
Uh,
And do you play with players who you know to set up shots?
so for the first question, it depends on what's happening. And it also depends on how you take the shot, right? So for a lot of my Battlefield work, it was taken on the PlayStation 5. So you have that easy, just one click share button, right? It takes a screenshot, and it's
Yeah.
pretty responsive. It's pretty quick. But between the server delay and the delay of the PlayStation, potentially it, it could be a slight delay. So you may get a blurry shot if something is moving really fast on the screen. There's also FPS to consider on the console. You don't get as much FPS as compared to PC, so some things may appear blurrier than others. But in general, I would say uh, the PlayStation does a pretty good job of freezing the action and resulting in a more crisp, sharp shot. But
Yeah.
definitely
Cool.
there's some blur added to
Yeah.
most things, definitely. And then your other question, uh, I have never, for all of my multiplayer photography, it is unscripted. I don't know any of the people that I'm photographing. It's just all completely random, random servers, random people, and nothing is really planned. So it's rather time consuming
Mm.
to say the least. But yeah, no, everything is just completely random.
And I suppose it's probably when you first start doing it, it's probably quite uncomfortable because you're used to all the habits from using a photo mode and probably miss the shots you're trying to take and that kind of thing. But I mean, it sounds like from a range point of view and that kind of thing, you've got brilliant range, go wherever you want. It's just obviously getting the shot you want, which is the more difficult part.
Yeah, and there have been times where I'd you know I would I'd have an idea, right? I'd be like, okay, I know the map. I know that people typically take a tank to go capture A using this specific route. I play, I've spent a lot of time actually playing the game, so it that has kind of helped me understand the typical play style that people do right when playing the game. So it makes it a little easier to capture those moments. But
Yeah.
sometimes, it would happen where I plan a shot, I'll set up the camera, in a specific position, and I'll wait 10, 15 minutes and never get the shot that I'm looking for.
Mm.
And it's a bit disheartening, but you know, you move on and you look for other shots and you get stuff when you can. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of wasted time, quote unquote. Wasted isn't the right word, but you spend a lot of time trying to get one shot. You may not get it, but
Yeah,
it is
I
rewarding when
suppose
you
that
do. You know,
exactly. I suppose that makes it more like in real life photography.
yes,
Is that you can't pause real life, can you? So sometimes you do have to sit there for a while to get the specific shot you want.
yep, 100%. And
Oh.
that reminds me of a time where this is back when I still had my Sony camera. There's a wildlife preserve nearby that I started frequenting early in the mornings, and one person saw me with my camera, and they approached me and they go, "Are you the owl guy?" And I'm like, "No, I am not the owl guy, but you've piqued my interest. Who is the owl guy?" And they tell me, "Oh, you know, there's this photographer who comes here every now and again, and he's, you know, looking for a specific type of owl, but he hasn't been able to find it yet." I was like, "Okay." Uh, and then like 2, 3 days later after that, I'm walking through the preserve with my camera, and in the corner of my eye, up on a tree, I see a big great horned owl. And
Was it the owl guy?
it was the owl wasn't the owl guy, but but what was crazy is that, so I'm looking up at this owl. I take a few photos of it, but it's sleeping, right? And I'm like, oh, if only it would open its eyes and look at me. That would have been great. But as I'm waiting for that to happen, another gentleman walks by me, and he goes, quietly, he goes, "Hey, what are you trying to take a photo of?" And I'm like, "Oh, there's a owl right over there." And he's like, "What?" And I pointed it, and I help him find. He's like, "I've been trying to take a photo of that owl for months now." And I'm like, "Are you the owl guy?" And he goes, "I guess I'm the owl guy." But yeah, so I met Owl Guy. That was cool. I found the owl he was looking for, and I went to that same exact location for like over the course of 3 days and waited over a total amount of, I want to say, like 10 hours.
Yeah.
And I finally got a shot of him, of the owl, looking directly at my camera, and it is a shot that I love to this day. And yeah, so with same with the battlefield, it's like, yeah, you sometimes you wait for that shot, being since it's a multiplayer match and everything, you can't freeze it, but when you do get that shot, it's an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it's such a reward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, you have to share that picture of the owl. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Oh, cool. So obviously you said there's a nature reserve nearby. We know you live in the vicinity of New York area. So I'm going to change the next question slightly because we kind of know a little bit of the answer.
Hmm.
So living so close to New York, we know you have thought about doing a side-by-side project from a game. Would you like to just tell us a little bit about what game you've done a side-by-side project on? And can you tell us when you're going to share it?
So yes, so um, I know probably a lot of people are expecting the more obvious answer, Spider-Man, but that is not the game. The game is The Division, specifically The Division 1. Um, I did, this was in 2020. Yes, this was, I believe, February, March of 2020. I decided to do a side by side comparison of New York City and The Division because of its similarities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. New York City changed dramatically um, in a lot of ways, mostly for the worse. But it was eerily similar to how New York City was portrayed in the Division One, and I kind of
Mm.
wanted to do that side by side comparison and capture, those similarities and talk about my experiences playing the game and being in New York, working New York at the time, and just how everything kind of happened and how my life was personally affected by it because it was in a not so nice way, unfortunately.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what that project is. And in terms of when that will be releasing, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the near future. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
You've got to give us more than that. We spoke last time in April and it was coming out soon. We're now in
we
October.
are, we are.
I can't wait any longer.
Yeah, it's without getting too personal, it is a bit of a complicated project. It is difficult to work on, um, but definitely, surely soon.
Well, we'd be really glad to see it when it comes out. Really looking forward to seeing the project come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And if I seen there's talk of Division 3, I
Yes.
can't remember if I just made that up or not.
Yes. No. I saw it too. There was some sort of confirmation of the Division Three in the works. Probably, obviously, in very early development, if in any development, probably just like a planning phase. But yeah, no, I saw that as well, and I'm pretty sure it's legit. It's a real thing that's happening, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely be interesting to hear a bit more news about it when it comes out. A bit more news. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I love the Division games.
Mhm.
I preferred one over two.
Yes, same.
Um,
Yeah.
don't know. Just I like the New York setting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the second one. Um, yeah, it just didn't hit the same as the first one for me.
Same, and that's something that I will brush up on in my little project that I'm working on. But Division One, I mean, it's a very different atmosphere, a very different feel and vibe and everything to it compared to the Division Two. And Division Two is still a fantastic game, and you can even go back to New York and see new locations. And I think it was Warlords of New York think was the
Yeah,
expansion, so that was cool, to be able to go back and explore new areas. But yeah, just the Division One that it just gave off such a peculiar feeling, just how it was designed and
yeah,
everything. I think Division was a fantastic game.
yeah. Let's hope for great things from the Division 3.
Oh yes.
So we've got a bit of a weird question before. Not before. Next, sorry, from TPM Bossman Jack. You know the question. How did you become such a whiz at Returnal?
Oh yes, I remember this question. Um, so I'm very fond of that type of game, bullet hell games as they're called. Um, One of my favorite games of that genre is Geometry Wars 3, which
Mhm.
is super fun. I don't know if you've played. I don't remember if we talked about that last time.
I don't think I have.
Okay. It's a great game. You should play it. If whether you like bullet hells or not. If you don't, that'll be a very funny experience. But yeah, no, I love those types of games. I kind of grew up with with bullet hell games, especially computer games like Raiden. Was it Raiden X, Raiden Z? I always forget
Yeah,
which
yeah,
what that was called. But Heli Attack. Just those types of games growing up, I really enjoyed, and then that kind of just translated into once I started playing on consoles more. Eventually,
mm,
until the release of Returnal, and it just kind of clicked. I loved the setting, I loved the atmosphere and the gameplay of Returnal, and picked it up. Loved the crap out of it. I still love it. It's a very fun game. It's awesome.
yeah. See, I've played tried to play Returnal a couple of times, and I think I don't get on with it because I'm so bad at it. I'm really, really bad at it.
You
And
just gotta get back into it and just keep trying. Just keep trying.
no, I'd done that. I kept going and going and going. I got to some bit where I don't know what it was that pounced on me, but I just died straight away. And then, yeah, it's a weird game in a good way, but I just think at the time I was playing it, I didn't have any patience at all.
Are you a Souls fan? Do you like any of the Souls games?
I am, and I've just started Lords of the Fallen as well.
Oh, well, so before I ask you about that, if you like Souls games, then you have to go back to Returnal, and you have to be Returnal because it's the same thing. You die again and again and again and again until you don't die, and you beat it, and you feel great. So I want you to go back to Returnal, Mister Souls person. You
I'll tell you what, I'll do you a deal. I'll go back and finish Returnal. You finish your Division project, and then we'll talk about it again.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it. Uh, Fine, deal, done. We
Yeah,
will
no, I'll give it another go. It's on the games catalog, isn't it? So
It
I've
is.
got no excuse.
Yep, it's
No
available. You can
excuse.
download it whenever, and yeah. But yes, Lords of the Fallen. I am super excited about picking that up, and um, you know, obviously Shinobi has been talking about it and kind of showcasing its photo mode, and that looks incredible. The photo mode in that game.
I tell you, yeah, definitely. It was a big and pleasant surprise.
Mhm.
I he confirmed there was a photo mode from another post on Twitter a while ago, um, and he was downloading it, and I was messaging him saying, "Have you downloaded yet? Have you downloaded yet? Can you confirm the PM?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah, I can confirm the PM." He said, "Oh my god, it's amazing." So I booted it up, and it is such a good photo mode. I
That
mean,
has me so excited for to jump into that.
don't get me wrong. There's always things with a photo mode that maybe don't work as well as they could.
Mhm.
But there's so many different options. It's got the kind of color gamma and contrast things from Days Gone. It's got this really cool 3D render setting where you can set up your shot, save it as a 3D shot, and then go back into it later and capture things from a different angle and image in that same setting. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. And the game as well is really, really good. I'm not that far, but it's really good looking. Really good looking. And the photo mode is amazing.
That's awesome.
But I'm going to finish Mirage first. I
Yes,
have to finish Mirage first.
yes.
But yeah, no, it's definitely worth it, man. It's really good.
Cool.
So talking about photo modes, what's the most important tool to you in a photo mode? What do you go to first when you go into a photo mode?
Definitely the depth of field. Um, Depth of field is something that can take a good photo into a stunning photo, and having a good depth of field mechanic in a photo mode is imperative. Um, and it's something that I use in virtually every single shot that I take. And it's useful in for any style of photo that you take, right? If you're taking a portrait, um, obviously the subject of the person or whoever it is that you're taking a photo of, that's the main focus, right? So
Mhm.
with the depth of field, you can emphasize the focus of that subject and kind of blur out the rest of the quote unquote, we'll say, unimportant stuff in the frame.
Yeah,
So, and or if you're doing like a landscape shot, obviously you want to get most of it, if not all, in focus. So, having a wide open aperture and being able to capture the full scene is important. Or if you're taking a landscape shot, but you want to focus on a specific building, let's say, or something else in the shot, being able to control the depth of field will allow you to do that. So I think, yeah, depth of field is my go-to, and I think for any kind of photo, it's the most important thing.
Definitely. And which photo mode do you think's nailed it the most for you in terms of depth of field?
I would say Horizon Forbidden West, I think, has one of the best depth of field adjustment tools. Being able to autofocus is super duper convenient. Um, Very few photo modes have an autofocus system, and a lot of them kind of get it wrong. I think Horizons does it pretty damn well. And the level of control you have with the depth of field in that game is uh, phenomenal. I think it's extremely good.
Oh no, it is awesome, definitely. And just to let you know, Lords of the Fallen has auto focus.
Ooh. Now, see, does it work the same as Horizon where it focuses on where your cursor is? Or is it more of the game knows where your character is and locks it into that position? Because I know a lot of games like, Cyberpunk is one that comes up to mind because I've been shooting a lot in Cyberpunk recently.
Mm,
The autofocus is just for your character, right? So it's not
yeah.
particularly helpful. Uh, but but yeah, how does
So
Lords of the Fallen work?
so I've only experimented with it a little bit, so there could be more bits to play with. But from what I understand of it, is it's got a center point focus. So if you put the center of your screen where you want your focus
Mm.
and press the autofocus, it looks at what's in the middle of the screen and measures that distance and does an automatic kind of blur, which you can adjust.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can move that point around. I haven't played it enough, but I don't think you can move that point around. So you need to line up what you want to have focused in the center of the image to focus it, and then you can move it around, and that's sort of your point of focus. But yeah,
I see.
I'll play around with a bit more, but at least it's got something.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful, and it's nice to hear that it has that option. Like as long as there's something, like as long as it's been thought about and implemented in some capacity, it's cool to see that in a photo mode.
It is, and it's good to see, like, a new, well, kind of a reinvented IP from a studio that isn't as well known as others, taking the time to put such a photo mode in. I know we've seen it with things like Deathloop and other things and that as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the one thing with Mirage. As much as I like taking pictures of it, they did just copy and paste the photo mode from Valhalla and kind of downgraded it a little bit.
Mm.
So that's probably the only slightly more disappointing thing on Mirage, but it's still got a photo mode. So
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all good. So you've taken your shots. You like your depth of field is your most important thing that you go to in your photo mode.
Yeah.
Do you post edit your shots? And if you do, what do you use to edit them?
Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, I used to not do any sort of editing. For whatever reason, I was somewhat against it. I kind of liked the idea of being able to just capture a raw image from the game and do whatever tweaks inside the photo mode and post it like that. But that quickly that feeling quickly went away, and yes, now for basically every single photo that I take, I do edit it, um, and I use Lightroom to do all my editing. Um, I have Lightroom on my phone. I use it on my laptop. Uh, it's a really good tool. It has more or less everything that I need for the kind of editing that I do, and I try to keep it simple. I don't overdo it with the editing. I don't do any sort of composites. Where I'll take multiple images and kind of multiple images, excuse me, and fuse them together. Um, I'll just take a single image and edit what I have there, and make things a little bit more visible, a little bit more clear. Maybe add emphasis to the depth of field if the in-game depth of field isn't too great. Um, I'll try to make the blur, the bokeh, a little bit nicer. Do some
Yeah.
color correction here and there, and yeah, I try to keep it simple, but I do edit like every shot that I take for sure.
Oh, me too. And I use Lightroom as well. I love Lightroom.
Hmm.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I edit everything. I edit everything. I think it's because I'm not good at taking the pictures that I want, so I just edit them.
Yeah, I mean,
But
that's kind of the thing, right? It's like you have this vision, we'll say, of a photo, right? And you set it up and you do everything that you can within the confines of the game. You can there's only so much you can do, but it's like, oh, I really wish that this color was this instead, or I wish this was a little bit darker, a little bit brighter. I think editing is a perfect way of getting the shot that you're really looking for, and making the shot closer to what you had imagined.
exactly, and it's no different to in real life photography. You speak to professional photographers; they don't just take the shot and leave it there. Everything's edited, isn't it?
Of course, yeah.
Um, I took one in Mirage of they've got some really cool looking red smoke bombs, and as soon as I knew those in there, I wanted to take an image of Basim walking out of the smoke, looking all like mean and assassinate.
Yeah.
Um, and helpfully in this game, when you're in stealth, you get like a little highlight around you, and when you go into photo mode, it turns the highlight off everywhere in the game, apart from if you're in the red smoke. So I
Oh
took this, lined up
no.
this perfect shot.
Yeah.
It looked brilliant, but it had a white highlight all the way around the edge.
Uh,
So I dropped a message out to Cynthia and to Spectral saying, oh, help, help. You wizards, can there anything you can do? And then I gave it a go on an app I've got on my phone, and for 40 minutes I was there colouring in this highlight red to get rid of the highlight. But it looked cool in the end. Um,
awesome.
so without editing, it wouldn't have really looked that good. But yeah, I love a good edit anyway. I love a good edit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And see, that's exactly what I was talking about. It's like, it's not because you didn't know how to take the photo or anything. It's just, unfortunately, that's how the game works for whatever reason. It's like in the photo mode it turns off the highlight, but for whatever reason in the smoke it doesn't. So you do what you can to correct that, and it worked out in the end, it seems. So that's awesome.
Exactly. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So let's go to one of my favourite questions. So at TPM, we love our food. We've got our own food chat. We're just right foodies. So what is your favourite food? What do you love to eat?
Oh goodness. What? uh, I love food. I love food. I love all kinds of food,
Anything.
anything. But I also what what's uh, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. But I would say if if you told me, Ken, you could have anything that you want, and you could have as much of it as you want. That would probably be sushi.
Sushi.
Sushi. I
Oh.
love, 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 love sushi, and I can inhale that so much. Like, oh my goodness, one roll, two rolls is never enough. I love sushi, and I could eat a ton of it in a single sitting. It is so good.
Oh, see, I've never been a fan of sushi. I
In that
actually
in,
had a
in that case,
conversation.
in that case, this interview is over. I'm sorry, Dave. We can't be
No,
friends. Sorry,
don't,
Jack.
it's fun.
Please excuse me, but I am gonna have to leave. It was good talking to you. Have a nice day.
It's funny because we in our food group, Bianca Ultra Violetra put a picture on of a really nice dish she had, which had raw tuna in it,
Mm.
and it looked colourful. It looked amazing, but I wouldn't be able to eat it because the fish was raw. And it was the same thing. She's like, what? But yeah, no, I mean, it looks amazing, and it's so good for you as well. It's just never really clicked with me.
Yeah, well, there are uh, certain rolls and types of sushi where the fish is cooked. Um,
Yeah, I
it
know.
is still a thing. So you should rescind your statement of not liking sushi and say I love sushi, Ken. Yes, it's my favorite meal.
Yes, I eat it all the time, Ken. especially those little rice things wrapped in seaweed. I love them.
Good, good. Glad to hear
No,
it.
I mean,
Good.
I have to give it a try somewhen, but yeah, it's not click yet. But yeah,
You know what it is. You just have to take a plane over to New York, and I'll take you to a few good spots. How's that sound?
that's going to be a very expensive meal.
Worth it though. Worth it.
I don't know whether it's going to be worth like the flight price just to try some sushi.
It'll be fine. You'll have a good time.
So, saying that, if sushi, a lot of sushi is raw, we can just package it up and send it over.
Um, I
Yeah,
potentially, yeah, I guess that would be possible.
yeah. I don't think I'd eat it if it got shipped over anyway.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't either.
Well, if I'm ever in New York, I'll give you a call.
Sounds good.
I might have my wife and two kids in tow, so you might have to put up with them as well.
Hey, if it's to go eat sushi, I'll put up with anything.
Oh dear. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Watch this space. So back to VP then.
Yes.
There's obviously a lot of games coming out in the remainder of the year. Which upcoming games are you looking forward to playing and capturing?
So I know I definitely said this last time. Dragon's Dogma 2 is undoubtedly my most anticipated game that is coming out, and the more that they show it off, the more I squeal like a little girl. That game, that game looks so damn good, and the first game is one of my top three favorite games of all time. Dragon's
I
Dogma.
loved it.
It is,
Loved the
it is,
first game.
yes, it is such a phenomenal game. Very excited for the second one. The first game has in massive quotation marks, a photo mode. Um, I don't know if you remember it or if you've ever bothered trying to use it. Um,
I
it's
don't think I did. I think I played the game, but I don't think I knew it had a photo mode.
yeah, it's not really a photo mode. Um, it's a glorified pause screen, we'll say. Uh,
Yeah,
so hopefully, fingers crossed. As photo modes have become much more prevalent and advanced in features, hopefully we'll see one in this game that is actually usable and good. And it would be nice because that game looks beautiful. That game really deserves a photo mode so that people can capture it and show it off, and I think that would be great. But um, other than that, I mean, Lords of the Fallen I was very excited for, and it seems like it has an awesome photo mode, so that's really cool to see and hear. Um,
are you on the Spider-Man 2 hype train?
I am to a degree, and I don't know, is Sun in the chat? Hold on, let me see. Is Sun in the chat? Sun is no that
I don't know.
that
No, I don't think
rapscallion.
Sun's on.
No, he's not in the chat. That's fair. He would scream blasphemy if I said I wasn't on the hype train. So I'll just go ahead and say yes, I'm on the hype train. And genuinely though, I am. The game looks incredible. I really loved Miles Morales on the PS5. That was a delight. That was such a great game. So yeah, it'll be cool to continue that story in Spider-Man 2 and be able to play that and photograph that. And yeah, so
It'll be interesting to see if there's any advancements in the photo mode as well.
it would be nice to see, and I think I may have talked about this last time. I think Insomniac's, or actually, it was probably with Sun, because we've talked a lot about this. But Insomniac's photo modes in Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man, those are some really phenomenal photo modes. I think those are some of the best
Definitely.
ones out there, and particularly for the single fact that it has custom lighting setups that you can do.
Definitely.
You can change the sun, you can change the reflective lighting. I forget the name of it, but there's so much customization, and being able to add you know three custom lights. I mean, that's a game changer. That can you know that that alone, being able to add those lights can really make your photos pop. And we see it from from Sun, from Timothy, from a lot of Spider-Man VPs specifically, their shots are insane, and a lot of that has to do with the custom lighting that you can do. So
Definitely. And I don't think, I know other games have tried it. I know The Last of Us did, and Jedi Fallen Order had a kind of light system, but nobody's light system kind of nails it as much as Insomniac's.
yep.
Jedi Fallen Order's one it was frustrating. I'm glad they had it in there. It was good, but yeah, just the whole it's in Insomniacs. It's just so easy,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's so easy to move it and manipulate it and get it how you want it. So yeah, no, it'd be really interesting to see if there's any advancements or if it is just the same photo mode. Be really interesting to see. We've not got long to wait now.
Yeah, was it like 5 days or something like that,
Yes.
right? It was within the week.
Yeah, exciting times. This is just gonna flood Twitter, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Gonna have to block a load of hashtags and words
Yeah,
very
the
quickly.
typical ordeal of the average virtual photographer. We
Yeah.
gotta, we love everyone's photos, but by golly, there's spoilers left and right sometimes, and it's unfortunate, but
Oh,
uh,
definitely.
but yeah, it is what it is.
So the next question we've got is from the Spooky Dude. And his question is, the last game you played is where you're stuck right now. What's the first thing you do?
So I remember this question um, when they posted it, and what was that, October 7th? I tried. I'm trying to remember what game it was that I was playing as soon as I saw that question because I wanted to answer, at the time what it was. It was a horror game, that much I know. But I don't remember if it was. Shoot, what was it? Um, Damn, I don't remember. But I guess my new answer, my new answer is Cyberpunk. Currently playing that, and the first thing I would do is probably get an implant so that I wasn't as forgetful, because apparently I need that. So yeah, that would be the first thing I would do if I was in the Cyberpunk universe.
I'm with you on that, man. I have to write everything down or I'll just forget it. My memory's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish.
Yeah.
But that game, no. So have you started the expansion or are you just playing normal Cyberpunk?
So I had played it before, but only with the trial that was available on PlayStation's premium service,
Yeah.
and I forget what it was, if it was like 3 or 4 hours, something around there. But naturally, I used pretty much all of that time to take photos. So I didn't really play the game itself. I did a very little of the story. I think I finished the prologue, and that was more or less it. But now that I actually own the game, uh, big thanks to a friend of mine who actually got it for me as a gift. Um, I'm actually playing it now, just the base game, and I'm going through the story, and I'm really really loving it. In a way, I guess I'm spoiled because the game has been updated so much, and there's the new 2.0 update and everything. So a lot of the systems are better, I guess. I wouldn't know. But it's just such a cool and fun game, and it's awesome to play. I'm really enjoying it right now.
It is a great game, and I think that's what CD Projekt Red are really good at with both Cyberpunk and The Witcher. Is they just make games that you get engrossed in, and you want to live in the world, don't you? Night City is beautiful as well, absolutely beautiful to shoot.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm taking. In the beginning, I did the same thing. I booted it up, I started playing, and immediately, I think within like 10 seconds after the first cutscene, I opened up the photo mode, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. I'm not gonna play the game. I'm just gonna take photos. But no, last I was actually playing it just last night, and I really buckled down and just kind of playing it, enjoying the story, and yeah, it's awesome. And yeah, you know, same thing with The Witcher. It's you get, just as you said, you get so engrossed in it. You know, you feel like you're there. It's very immersive games, definitely. Maybe not so much Cyberpunk, um, but definitely The Witcher. Yeah, it was you feel like you're there. It's awesome.
Really good, wasn't it?
Hmm.
So next we've got a question from Shinobi. So what do you consider your biggest achievement as a VP so far, and what is the one you dream of?
So soon after starting VP, I submitted some entries to OPM UK, which was official PlayStation magazine.
Yeah,
I believe they're now just called Play Magazine.
yeah, they
Um,
certainly are.
yeah, but so yeah, so I submitted entries for a monthly photo contest thing that they hold, and I was reached out, and they wanted to feature one of my shots, and yeah, I had one of my photos selected, and it was printed in one of their magazines. So that was
Wow,
pretty wild for me. You know, having just recently started posting and sharing my VP online. So that was pretty awesome. I still cherish that moment.
that is awesome. I mean, that's back in the days when there was loads of magazines, wasn't there? There's hardly any now.
Uh, yeah, I mean, in terms of just like gaming,
Yeah, yeah, for like gaming and PlayStation, because I think there was like two or three PlayStation ones, wasn't there? There was the official PlayStation magazine, and then there was a couple of others.
yeah, I mean, I've to be honest, I wasn't big in the magazine space. Like you know, the magazines that I was really just familiar with was Game Informer, GameStop's
Yeah.
magazine, because I had been a member for with them for a very long time. So you know, I'd get those regularly in the mail. But I know uh, when I went to when I was visiting France for a while, there was or not France. I'm sorry. This was in England, I think. I went into a magazine store, and they had Edge, the magazine Edge. That seemed like a
Yeah, yeah,
pretty big one.
yeah. That one was practically like a book every issue. It was massive.
Yeah, um, yeah. I actually bought one. It was a special, I think, Destiny. It had the Traveler on the cover. It was like this really
Yeah,
nice. It had like a special cover to it. It was super cool. I still own it. But yeah, it's a massive, definitely a lot inside of that one.
yeah. The thing is, I think there's a lot more like online blogs and bits and pieces now, isn't there, rather than magazines, which is good. You've got access to all the news and bits and pieces as it happens, but nothing kind of beats the feel of having like a gaming magazine and flicking through it and reading the reviews on a bit of paper rather than Metacritic and everything. I'm showing my age now.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I mean, you know, back when I was younger, you know, again, I had Game Informer for such a long time. I remember as a kid, you know, getting them in the mail and opening them up and just seeing, you know, so many games. You know, that they'd be reviewing all these games, and they'd have photos of all these games, and I'm like, wow, there's so many video games out there. And you know, back then I only had a handful, you know, on my N64, my Game Boy, but they were talking about PlayStation and Xbox and all this stuff, and I'm like, wow, there's so many games. It was just so weird to see, you know, because um, I wasn't familiar with any of them,
Yeah,
especially back then. You know, not really having internet access or anything like that. That was really the only way I was able to see those games. So it was really cool. But yeah, nowadays it's like you have podcasts, you have YouTuber review channels, you have you know people on all sorts of social media talking about games and everything. So it's almost impossible not to know what's coming out. Um,
exactly. It's all at your fingertips, isn't
yeah,
it?
you know, it's like you could be you know, there could be a genre that you're just completely disinterested in, but you'll know everything about the games because, you know, everywhere you go, people are talking about it. So,
Exactly. And all the ads on Twitter, you just find out about
oh
everything.
yes, ads. Yep, that is the biggest culprit of unwanted knowledge.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And they don't, it's not even like they look at your habits and stuff and give you relevant, well, they say they're relevant ads, but let me tell you, some of the ads I see are definitely not
Oh
relevant.
yeah,
But we'll leave that conversation there.
no. Yeah, yeah.
So we've got a couple more questions, and then we're going to go to any live questions from anybody who's managed to skip through three spaces and still be listening. Um,
Yeah.
so if you do want to ask Ken a question live, we've got a couple of questions left, and then you can put your speak request in. So apart from VP, what other hobbies and interests do you have, Ken?
Hmm. Um. Well, I'm a big collector of things. I have a variety of collections between video games and action figures, comic books, just art in general. I like collecting a lot of stuff. It's mostly video game related, but
Mm,
you know, I like figures and statues and stuff like that. So it's cool seeing, especially you know, during my time in France and other countries, you know, seeing things, uh, merch that I wouldn't be able to see here. You know, it
yeah.
was fun seeing those and getting the few things that I could. But yeah, I like collecting things. Photography is definitely takes up most of my time. But yeah, there's that. Obviously, video games. That's obvious. Um,
So does your other half share your passion for collecting? Are you allowed to display it around the house, or do you have a set room where you can only display it in your?
uh, in every room, maybe minus the kitchen, and bathroom, because that'd be weird. Yeah, no, we both proudly display our collectibles throughout the apartment, and yeah, it's cool to see what we've gathered over time. You know, it's really cool. We both share that interest. Yeah, so.
Is there any collectible that he's got that you're jealous of?
Uh oh, that's a good question. He does have the Alduin statue from the Skyrim Collector's Edition back when that released. That's super duper cool.
Yeah,
Um, what else? I think that's kind of. I mean, I have not to toot my
yeah.
own horn, but I have a lot. There,
Your
a lot.
collection's better. Your
Yeah,
collection's better than
yeah.
his.
My collection is vast, we'll say. So yeah, so
I don't want to start arguments. I don't want you to argue about it once you get off here. You're like, no, mine's better than
mine's better.
yours.
Yeah, no, but it's fine. You know, it's cool. What's mine is his, and what's his is mine. So you know, it's our collection.
Well said. Well said. You won't get in trouble
Yeah,
now.
dodged a bullet.
No, that's really cool. Really cool. So obviously we talked about VP, we talked about all the other bits and pieces, but from a VP perspective, there's lots of new VPs coming through. There's people who've been doing it a while as well. Do you have any advice for people who are either considering taking shots for the first time or who are virtual photographers? Any advice you'd give them? Any pitfalls you tell them to avoid? Any pearls of wisdom?
Uh, yeah. I mean, you know, back when first started VP, um, you know, I was taking shots left and right and just being like, yeah, this is so cool. It's a new thing I'm getting into. Yeah, awesome. And I would go, you know, once I started posting on social media and I started seeing other people's photos, I did a lot of comparing, and I would see, you know, other people's shots and just be like, wow, my shots compared to theirs sucks. You know, like wow, my
Mm.
shots are terrible compared to these people. I shouldn't even bother taking photos. Um, but you know, so like I think what a lot of people fall into the trap of is doing that comparison. and starting VP for the first time, and then seeing other people who are very prominent in the social media space, who post photos and get a lot of engagement. That could be disheartening for some. Some people may say, "Oh, I'll never get to that level." Whether it's the quality of the photo or the engagement factor on social media. So some people feel that they'll never be able to reach that level. And to that, I say, don't give up. Just keep taking photos. If anything, maybe even reach out to a specific photographer that you look up to and admire their shots and ask them, respectfully, how did you take this shot? Like, do you have any advice for me? I love that game that you take photos in, but my photos aren't as nice, maybe, or whatever. I try to get this shot. I see you were able to. How did you achieve that? And just kind of, you know, getting advice from people on how to take better photos, and just really going from there, and just keep taking photos. Just never stop taking photos, because
Exactly.
practice is everything. Everybody starts somewhere, and yeah, for it just comes with time.
No, I completely agree. It's like anything, you can't just jump into something and be great at it straight away or know everything about it straight away. It's a learning process, isn't it? Whether it's like in real life photography or other bits and pieces. You come into it blind, you discover it, and how would you in real life get better at something? You'd practice, you'd speak to people, not lessons as such in VP, but in real life, you go and get lessons, or you get books, or you'd ask people. So yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And I think the VP community is such a friendly place.
Yes.
So I don't think people mind if you reach out, if you send someone a DM, like you said. Nobody's going to turn around and say, "I'm not telling you." We're all really we're a really good community, inclusive community, and I think just ask away.
Yeah, 100%.
Nobody can hold any secrets.
Yeah, and I think, um, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this one. Some of the best photographers out there are the most welcoming people, and most willing to share what they've learned, their insights, um, what they've come across, what they know works, what doesn't work, and so yeah, and a lot of them just kind of naturally share that information. They'll talk about it either in a podcast or a thread, just kind of giving tips and tricks and stuff like that. So the information is out there, the knowledge is out there. And if you're serious about VP, or even if you're not serious, even if it's just a light hobby, but you want to learn how to improve, it's really just a click away, trying to seek that advice.
Exactly. And I would say, an extra bit I'd say is, don't be afraid of the fact that people might have big numbers and big followers. I think there's probably sometimes the expectation is that people with the big numbers will be arrogant and not want to speak to them. That is not true.
Mm-hmm.
I've asked loads of people for advice on stuff, and some of them, Ruben, Shinobi, various other people, they are so welcoming and they're so open to imparting the advice, whether it's, advice to get better, or and say, oh, maybe don't do that, things like that. They are so welcoming, and it's definitely worth reaching out, even for advice, or if you want to further yourself in the VP community, speak to people. There's opportunities to learn and opportunities to grow out there all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm with you on that one. Great bit of advice. So now's the best part. Is there anybody listening live who would like to ask Ken a question that we haven't asked him already? We hope we don't get cut off again. So ask your question quick. We've got Bianca and Cynthia listening. I know they're always good at asking questions. They'll probably let me down now. Is there anybody who'd like to ask Ken a live question? Let's see if anybody's going to pop a speaker request on. It's always a bit of an awkward moment when we get to this bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. It's it's okay.
Here we go. Bianca's not letting us down. Here comes Bianca. AB, how you doing?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going?
Hi. So I got a question for you.
Sure.
So what's what's a style that you struggle on but you want to get better with?
Ooh. Um, I would say portraits. Um, Portraits are definitely something that I take the least of, and I don't have nearly as much experience as some other people. Um, and it's not so much that I find it difficult to take the photo itself. It's more so just finding something compelling and worthwhile. Whether it's a specific character or a location that the character is in. Uh, excuse me. Yeah, no, portraits I find uh, a bit puzzling how to take something that's not bland or just at face value, just like an easy three-quarter side portrait or whatever. Because whenever I take a portrait, I feel like it's just kind of the same thing over and over and over again. So I think
I get
portraits,
what you're saying. Like you want meaning to it,
yeah,
expression, thought. I get it. I totally get it.
hmm yeah, that would be something that I would definitely enjoy trying to improve upon.
Well, thank you, Ken.
Oh, thank you for asking. Thank you for joining.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad you're here with us.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Drop me a DM, Ken, on portraits.
What's that?
I'll give you some tips.
Oh, snap.
Drop me. I'll give you some
Oh,
tips. I'll give you some tips.
awesome, awesome.
We've got Cynthia coming on to ask a question now. Where are we, Cynthia? Let's approve you. Cynthia, can you hear us? Cynthia, can you hear us?
My turn, I see.
Ah,
Your turn. Your turn.
Hello, hello.
hello.
It's hard to go right after Bianca. I'm just kidding. She's,
Hi.
she gonna send me a nasty message now. Um, my question, and I kind of came in a little late, so I don't know if you discussed it, but one thing I'm always interested in is what kind of background do you, if you have it all in any type of the arts, photography, drawing, painting, design, anything like that, that maybe you integrate with your virtual photography.
Hmm. Um, well, I've definitely been doing photography for a really long time. It actually, my interest in photography actually came about when my friend way back when showed me his smartphone. Um, this is going back to like the HTC Evo days and the Samsung Skyrockets. He showed me this phone, and he was a big videographer. He still does that professionally, but back then he would take videos using his phone, and I was like blown away by that. I was like, "Whoa, you can capture videos with your cell phone? That's crazy." Um, and so I convinced my parents. I begged and I pleaded for a smartphone, and I got one, and I fiddled around with the camera, and I wasn't super big into the video, but I started taking photos of just random stuff throughout my days, and I was like, this is really cool. I'm able to capture moments just using this tiny little device that fits in my pocket, and that's what really uh, propelled my love for photography. And now I've done it with mirrorless cameras and DSLRs, and still to this day smartphones. It's me and Dave were talking about how advanced smartphone cameras have become. Um,
Yes.
and so yeah, so I think with my phone, I do a lot of street stuff, street photography in New York City and locally, and games like Ghostwire Tokyo is kind of the perfect game to do that kind of thing. The street photography, and it's definitely the real life stuff has definitely affected how I look for certain angles, or look at architecture, for example, and try to compose a shot that way. So that's definitely affected my VP for sure.
That's really cool. Any of those outside stuff that's not directly VP, like it just helps so much. So it's just one thing I'm always curious about for VPs, like what else do you bring into it from outside?
Yeah,
but I think that's really cool.
yeah, absolutely, and that's an awesome question. Because art. I mean, in all its forms, right? Music, dance,
Mhm.
even like everything. It can all be kind of put together, right? You can take a photograph of someone dancing and kind of combine the two into a real work of art. Um,
Yeah.
how we, a lot of people listen to music while they take photos, and that kind of impacts their style or whatever it is that they're taking photos of, and yeah, it all just kind of comes together. So I think that's an excellent question. Yeah, and a lot of us may not even realize it, but yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
We're happy to have you.
Happy to be here. Thanks again.
Mhm. You're welcome.
Okay. It just leaves me to say it's been brilliant to speak to you 3 times again today. It's been amazing, mate. Apologies it didn't record the first time. Apologies we dropped out 3 times today, but it's been great to catch up with you. We're going to get the recording out there so more people can listen to it too. It's been good to have you, buddy. Thanks for sticking with it.
Of course, yeah. No, any excuse to get back on and keep speaking.
We should just make it cut out on purpose and just keep getting you back and back.
Yeah, I think you know what? Yeah, we'll cut that part out. We don't want people knowing.
No, that can be part of the fun.
Yeah,
That can be part of the fun. But no,
yeah, no. Genuinely, it's been a pleasure both times. It's great speaking with you, and being able to answer people's questions. I love being able to talk about this, and yeah, it's just really cool seeing everyone's viewpoints. All these interviews that you guys have been doing over at TPM, and giving a chance for people to kind of speak in a more natural setting. Physically hearing them and getting to know
definitely.
the person behind the camera. It's an awesome thing you guys have been doing, and it's been a pleasure being able to be part of it.
Well, thanks, buddy. Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're going for, getting to know people behind the Twitter handles, which is good. And yeah, no, it's great to have you. Great to speak to you numerous times today. Have a good rest of your day. We'll catch up with you soon. We'll shut the recording out there, and we'll tag you in it as well.
All right, excellent.
Hi, Ken.
Hi.
Oh, Cynthia's still there. She's hiding in the background.
I just popped in.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Ken. Thanks, everybody who's joined and rejoined several times. It's been great to speak to you, mate. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll catch up with you soon.
You as well. Take care, man.
Thanks, Ken.